Hi guys, welcome to Forex Essence. It's your boy Previctor here, and I'm happy to have you. Thank you so much for taking your time and stepping by. Today I'm going to be talking about support and resistance. I think this is something that's crucial, and I know you've heard it so many times all over the internet, but really, do people understand it? After watching thousands and thousands of videos, do you really get what it means, or do you really get what it is? Right? It's actually pretty simple, guys. Support and resistance, or S&R, is basically a level that the market creates a memory. And what happens to memory is that every time you have a similar experience, you get flashbacks. So same applies to a Forex chart. Once the price comes back to the same price levels, it tends to create a reaction, or it reacts whenever it gets back to that price level. Right now, without wasting much of your time, like I always say, I don't want to waste much time on talking. I just want to jump right into the screen and show you what I'm talking about on the charts. Right now, before we go, I just want to say thank you so much, guys, and don't forget to like, share, as well as subscribe. Now watch till the end, as there's a lot of things that you're gonna learn from this video alone. Let's jump right into the screen. Voila. Now we are in Tradingview. What I've done here is I've simply just, scrolled all the way forward. This is so I can get a bit more of a whiteboard, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with some drawings. To answer that question, what is support and resistance, right? Support and resistance is basically a price level or an area in the market where the graphs or the charts or the market movement reacts. Now, what is it reacting to? It's basically the past. Now, it's all about history. It's all about flashbacks. Everything you're trading now, or that you're going to trade tomorrow or in the future, is basically decided based on what has happened in the past, right? So that's what support resistance is, right? It's basically a reaction to the past experience. Simple as that. I'm going to start off by drawing a simple support and resistance. This is so you can get an understanding of what is support and what is resistance. I'm just going to start off by drawing two parallel lines, and then I'll create, let's assume this is a price movement of a graph or of a chart, right? So it came into the parallel lines. So it begins to bounce inside these parallel lines. Just by drawing this, I can already explain or tell you what a support and a resistance is. In simple, plain terms, support is basically an area found at the bottom. All right. So now a support is basically a floor, or let's assume it's the ground where the market bounce on. Right now, I want you to imagine the market being a tennis ball. You throw a tennis ball onto the ground, it bounces off the ground, and then it rallies up, right? Or it flies up. Now, that will be your support level or your support area. It's the ground. Then resistance is basically the ceiling. Now, this is where the market will bounce off, but this time it's bouncing towards the downward movement. Let's assume it's the ceiling, right? So it bounces off the ceiling, comes back to the floor, and then it hits the floor hard enough to bounce again to the ceiling, and then it again gets resisted, pushed down to the ground, bounces off again, comes back down, and so on, right? So this is your ceiling. This is your ceiling. I hope I get that spelling right. Like that. I hope that's correct. And then this will be your floor. So this will be your support. And then the ceiling will be found as the resistance. Ceiling will be the resistance. So this is found at the top. All right. So there you are. You have your resistance levels, and then you have your support levels. All right. So these are found at the bottom, and then resistance levels are found at the top. Hope that's clear. Now I'm going to move on to the next example, right? This example is going to be a more of a channel structure, right? Let me erase this and then I'll show you how that looks. Right. Now, this time you have still two parallel lines, but this time they are a little bit slant, right, towards the upward side. And then you still have your graph that comes looking something like this, looking something like that, and so on and so on, right? Let me just stretch this out. Let me just stretch this out. Right there. Okay. Now, your support levels. Let's start with those. That will be this area here. The market hits and then shoots to the top, comes back down, supports there, shoot to the top, comes back down, again hits that level, and then shoots again to the top. So every time the market gets to a support level, what it does is it shoots higher, right? Now, let's keep that in mind. What about resistance? Resistance will be this area here. The market got to this level and was pushed down, came back up, got pushed down, came back up, got pushed down again. Doesn't matter how far down it gets pushed, but it is pushed. So even if it's just a short distance, let's assume from this point up to like somewhere around here, but the point is it has been pushed. So that is still your resistance, right? So this is one example. Then I'm going to show you the common spoken example that you'll find all over the internet. That'll be something like this. Then I'm going to draw it a bit more realistic. Right. Right. Okay. Now, in this funny looking drawing, where is our support? Right? Now, this is technically a trend, a buying trend. Now, this is us finding a support and a resistance on the same line, right? Sounds tricky, right? But it's very simple. Now, listen as I explain. So your market was at this point and then it shoots up. Now, as it shoots up, it gets to this price level where it gets pushed down. Immediately, whenever you hear pushed down, you think of your resistance level. So this would be my resistance level. That would be my support level. Because why is it support? Because as soon as it got there, it started shooting higher, right? Now, as it is going up, it gets to the price where it previously got resisted or where it previously got pushed, right? What happens there is it hovers or it begins to range, right? It's like creating a mini range. This is what normally happens in a real trading chart. It will not just pass through like they normally draw it on, the charts and so forth, and then all those whiteboard drawings where you just have a straight line passing through. No, that's not realistic. Now, the market will always come, and when it gets to the same point as it did previously, it reacts to it, right? There's price action explanation to this, right? If you stick with my videos, I will share that at some point. So do look out for that as well, where I get to tell you how this happens psychologically, right? And like basically how we react to prices as humans. I'm gonna explain that, but that will be in the future videos. So do look out for that, right? It will react to the previous price level, right? And according to this example, at some point it does pass through, goes higher, and then what happens is it gets rejected or it meets a resistance level. I'm just gonna copy this, where it gets pushed to the downside, right? As it is getting pushed to the downside, remember that area that it used as a resistance level. Now it's going to use it as a support level. Now you are finding your resistance and support at the same price levels. Just going to change the color of this to green, similarly to this, just so you have a different view there, right? Now, this being your support, this being your resistance. So this price level would mean these prices here on your right. So this price level previously acted as a resistance. Why? Because the market got pushed down and then bounced off support level, and then it broke through the resistance going to the top, got there, and again it met a resistance level. It got pushed down. Now as it is going down, it reached a level where it previously reacted as a resistance, but now because it has broken that resistance, now how do I explain this? I want you to imagine you're holding a tennis ball. You hit it on the ground hard enough to go up and break your ceiling. So it goes hard, it hits the floor hard enough to go up, hits the ceiling and breaks through it. Now, what happens once it breaks through the ceiling? At some point, it's going to lose momentum or it's going to lose power. And then it will, force of gravity, it will have to come down. Now, as it is coming down, it's not going to come on exact spot as it came through, right? It's going to go onto another spot where there is a surface, right? Now, that same concept is applied here. Now your tennis ball goes up. As it is coming down, it's not going to come obviously at the same point. It comes back onto another. If you imagine a ceiling broken through, the tennis ball coming onto a different part or a different area, right? In this case, it would be different time. What happens is the tennis ball is going to bounce off of the ceiling, right? And use the ceiling as a support and then bounce high again. It might not bounce as high as it did when it was hit on the ground. However, the point is it's going to bounce, right? Now, as it is bouncing, it bounces towards the upward direction, or that ceiling that used to be a ceiling will now be a ground from there on. So now that means we have created a support level. This is how you find resistance and support on the same price line, right? So this is another example that is widely spoken all over the internet. Prices breaks through resistance and then comes back to the same price levels and then use the same price level as a support area. And then obviously it's going to go up. Now, let's have a look at the charts. Okay, so after drawing 3 different structures where you can find support and resistance, we're going to now move on to the Forex charts, the actual charts that you're going to be trading from. And I'm going to find for you these examples, right? Now, the first example that we did was a range. So let me find a range, a good example of a range. Okay, so here we are. We have this example here. and then it breaks out. I'm gonna drag this up here just so you can see it without them candles. Now what you see here is exactly the same as what is in here, right? Now let's identify those areas or those price levels. Now let's start with our resistance. I have 1 here, I have 2 here, and I have 3 here, right? It's actually the same price level, right? Being used, it's the same price level being used as resistance. Same thing here, here, as well as here, right? At the bottom, I've got this one, same thing here. I've got this one and I've got this one, right? Now, let me explain this. The market was moving up, right? And then at some point in time, because of what happened in the past, now what I mean by what happened in the past is that when the market previously got to this price level, it pushed way down, like hard and sharp from this price point straight to this price point without any buying power in between. It just crushed all in red candles, right? That is selling power, right? So where did this start? It started exactly at this point here. Now what happens when the market comes back to that same price level? Because of memory, the price react similarly as it did, though not 100% the same, right? It pushed down. Now this push here confirms this as a resistance level. As it is coming back down, right, it begins to turn or to shoot towards the upward movement. Now let's date back and see why is that. If you look on this side, what do you see? You see that previously around the same price level, the market previously shoot to the upside. Now from here all the way to there, there's just this minor stoppage that was there. But other than that, it's like sharp blue candles. It's basically reacting as it previously did in the past, right? It pushed up previously, doing the same this time, right? Again, it got to that price level again, got pushed down. Same thing as it did previously. It just pushed down up until it reached here. So as you can tell already that this is a range, and within this range we are finding a resistance level as well as a support level, right? That's the first example, same as the skeleton that I've drawn here. Again, remember this is extracted from this structure, so if this is easier for you to see, hit here, hit there, hit there, hit there. It's just a simple zigzag movement, right? Good. Now next example, let's clear all of that. Now let's look for a channel. Channel will be a bit easier to spot. Actually, I see one just here. I'm gonna draw my lines right there, right there, right. So I'm having this two parallel lines. To make it easy to see, I'm just gonna turn this into a line graph, right? I'm gonna point out my levels. I'm gonna start off with the resistance. I see a resistance touch there, resistance touch there, a resistance right there, as well as right there, right? Then support. This is a support push. This is also a support push. This is a support push. This is a support, and this is also a support push, right? Now, I'm sure by now you already see how easy this is. Support is found at the bottom where the market bounces as it is rallying towards the upwards. And then resistance, is the resistance or the top levels where the market hits and then rallies towards the downwards direction, right? Now, push up is the support, push down is the resistance line. So in a channel, right, you will mostly find a resistance line instead of resistance levels. Why I don't want to say levels? Because there's gonna be too many. It's not gonna be one price level. It's gonna be many price levels. Now let's find the last example, which is a resistance that is found in a trend, either an upward trend or a downward trend, right? Zoom in. Let me just draw. My bad. Okay. Just gonna draw above that. Okay, so we have this push up, this push down, this push up, right? Right there. I'm gonna pull it out, put it on the side, and then put my line right there. Now, the market was coming up, right? From this support area, it got pushed higher, got to this price level here, and then what did it do? It got pushed lower. So this is a resistance point, got pushed lower, and then it got to a point where it was able to push towards the upward movement. That means there's a little support right there. It rallied all the way up, breaking through the resistance level. Let me just type that through. Let's say resistance level. In this case, resistance level got broken, right? Let's give it a nice little reddish color there. Resistance got broken through, market rallied to the upwards, and then came back to the previous resistance level and used it as support to continue to go higher, right? So right here we found our support. Change this to this color. So where is our resistance? This. Where is our support? This. Now, if you notice, you are finding your resistance at the same price level as support. So that's support and resistance found in the same place. This is usually found in a trend. Either it's going up or it's going down. You will mostly find that support and resistance on the same price line, right? I hope that was clear enough. Obviously, there's more information that I have not shared here. I'm just trying to keep it as basic as possible. As to how you will use this information to your own strategy, it depends on what type of strategy you use. But basically, you understanding that where a price reacts, there is a support or a resistance somewhere, right? How you want to find it is to always go back to the past. I'm going to do a video where I'm just focusing on examples and then finding examples in the past. But for the sake of keeping this video very short, I'm going to stop from here. All right. I hope that was a great tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or perhaps you think I left out something as I was, explaining, do feel free to just comment in the comment section below. And you can also DM me on Instagram at Previctor. You'll find me there. Okay, let's assume you are ready to start trading live. I always have this broker that I always recommend, as it is a broker that I use. The name is Exness. You can just find the link in the description below, and you can sign up. I've been using it for over 4 to 5 years now, and I've been getting an amazing experience. I cannot lie, honestly speaking. So if ever you're looking for a best trusted broker, at a beginner's level, I would highly recommend checking out Exness, right? Link in the description below once again. All right, so thank you so much, guys, for taking your time watching throughout the video. I hope it was educational for you as it was educational for me having to share this knowledge. And without further ado, have a good day, guys, and hope to see you on the next video. Take care, have a great time, stay blessed, and don't forget to pray every day.